I've got a healthy Italian dish for you, eggplant lasagna. So, first thing you'll obviously need is eggplant. Go ahead and heat up your oven to 425, and I've already done this, but slice your eggplant about 1/8 to 1/4 inch thick. Now, I've got the eggplant here, which is it's already come out of the oven. Place it in a tray, and you want to use oil sparingly. It'll only take about a tablespoon, perhaps 2. Drizzle the olive oil, sprinkle some salt and pepper on both sides of the eggplant. So, eggplants come out of the oven, and while you have your eggplant cooking in the oven, you can get the topping taken care of. Okay, for that, we're going to use ricotta cheese. Now, this is all about eating healthy. So, the ricotta cheese I buy is not fat-free. Don't like that one. Not full fat, but I get the light version. So you're really cutting out a lot of the fat, but you're still getting the taste. Now I'm going to use, this container is 15 ounces. I'm going to use a little less than that. About 12 ounces of ricotta cheese, okay? Now to that, we're going to add 2 eggs and Parmesan cheese. I've got about a cup measured here. Use only half of that. So I'm going to put about half a cup in this mixture. Okay, we're going to use the rest as the topping. So go ahead and let me get the spoon out. We're going to whisk the ricotta cheese, the Parmesan cheese, and the eggs together. Once you've got that mixed up a little bit, go ahead and add some spices. I'm going to put salt. So about a teaspoon of salt will do. If you like a little more, you could even get away with 1.5 teaspoons. Fresh ground black pepper, again to taste, depending on how much you like. You don't need too much of that. Now, if you like spicy, which I don't, add some crushed red pepper. But even though I don't like spicy, I'll just add a smidge because it's a pretty good quantity. So adding a little bit isn't going to make this spicy. It'll just give you some flavor. And the last thing I want to add is about, now I'm adding oregano. You can use fresh or the dry oregano. Since I don't have the fresh on hand, I'm going to use the dry. And go ahead and put about 1 to 1.5 teaspoons. All right, so we've got the ricotta, the Parmesan cheese, eggs, and our spices all mixed together. Pretty simple. And now what I'm going to do is take my eggplant and kind of get started putting this together. Keep your oven at 450. You can put a little bit of olive oil on the bottom of your dish. I'm using an 8-inch glass dish. I like to cut corners where I can with the oil, since I already used some oil on the eggplant. And remember, I didn't drench it. I just drizzled about 2 tablespoons in 2 eggplants. On the text version of the recipe, you'll get all the exact portion sizes. Okay, so now that I've done that, I want to put my eggplant down. Go ahead and place that eggplant evenly in the bottom. You want to put about 1/4 of it because we're going to make several layers here. Got the eggplant in the dish. Now the first thing I want to do is add 1/4 of the ricotta mixture. Okay, just spread it thinly and evenly. Now yes, this lasagna, as I call it, has no noodles. So we're cutting the carbs, getting the carbs through the eggplant, and we're getting the protein through the ricotta cheese. So this dish is that pretty much gets everything in there. Okay, put the eggplant, put the ricotta. Now I'm going to add another layer. Now I want to use marinara. I didn't mention what I'm using here. Another shortcut is you can get a jar of marinara. The big deal here to make it healthy is you have to look at the sugar content. A lot of marineras out there have way too much sugar. They're pretty low in fat. They're not that bad, but it's the sugar that gets us in trouble. So this one is actually from a local grocer, and it only has 1 gram of sugar per serving. So my recommendation to you is look at the jar. You want to go with about 5 grams of sugar or less. Now I'm going to take about 1/4 of the sauce, 1/4 to 1/2 of it. Definitely use it generously. That's about half my sauce. So I'll use the other half for the last layer. Now, like I said, I did 2 eggplants, about 1 pound to 1/4 pound each. And so let me go ahead and grab that other tray since I'm out. Okay, and let's do the final layer of the ricotta. Now, if you really like your pasta, go ahead and get a whole wheat pasta, the lasagna noodles, and you can add those 1 or 2 layers. But I was going with the lower carb version for this recipe, and so I decided not to use that today. Okay, so got that, and now for my final layer. Just perfect. I have a little extra, so I'm just going to add it in to my final layer. Okay, and then I'm going to add the rest of the marinara to the top. If you like marinaras with vegetables, that's always good. Adds to the vegetable content of the dish. This one has some red peppers and spinach in it. So I'll just increase the flavor. And now with the final layer, I'm just going to sprinkle the remaining 1/2 cup of Parmesan cheese. If you want to cut the fat even more, just do 1/4 cup. There's really not too much fat here. I've used very sparingly the olive oil on my eggplant. And yes, it does soak it up. So be sure not to add too much before you put that eggplant in the oven, because it'll still cook fine. So basically it's low-fat Parmesan and low-fat ricotta, and that's it. Pretty simple dish. You want to go ahead and pop this in the oven, back at 450 for about 20 to 25 minutes till it's bubbling hot and the cheese is turning golden brown on top. So let me put this in the oven. And I'm going to set my timer for 25 minutes and we'll be good to go. So it's been 25 minutes. Let's check on that eggplant lasagna. And it's definitely looking done. Cheese is melted and golden on top. And there you have it, our healthy eggplant lasagna.